All right, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four quarters of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And right now I'm on my lunch break. Right now I'm on my lunch break from the plantation. I wanted to do a quick video real quick on these sellouts, because these sellouts, and they know who they are. I don't need to name them. I don't need to make mention of their names. Okay, they're going to have to answer for their doctrine and their teachings. They're going to have to answer for everything that come out of their mouth and everything they have said in their videos, from everything concerning what the mark of the beast is, to everything concerning the Gentiles, to everything concerning the heathens, to everything concerning Israelites, to everything concerning this hell doctrine. They're going to have to answer for all those things when judgment comes, because judgment indeed is coming. Like the Messiah said in the book of Revelation, I believe the 21st chapter, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Okay, so all these guys who sold out, they think that there's not a judgment coming for them. And the reason why they don't believe there's a judgment coming for them, because really they don't believe in the Holy Scriptures, and they don't believe that everything that's written in the volume of the book is going to come to pass. Nevertheless, okay, we know that the word of the Lord stands long-suffering and true. As when we come over here to Matthew chapter 12, verse 36, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, he shall give account thereof in a day of judgment. So again, Matthew 12, verse 36, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in a day of judgment. Now, why should we be afraid of this precept, which is also the word of Yahweh Shai? Why should we be afraid of that? Well, let's go to Numbers real quick. I'm going to show you why. Numbers chapter 23 and verse 19. Yahweh is not a man that he should lie, neither is the son of man that he should repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? So the Lord is not a man that he should lie, okay? So every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in a day of judgment. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that a lot of these grisly and gruesome judgments that come upon people, okay, people who come up missing, and then when they're found by the police, they have missing fingers, missing hands. People get into car accidents and their head is halfway chopped off their neck. You know, people end up with missing arms. They end up with animal encounters where a crocodile bites off a leg or a thigh of a person. You know, people end up with missing toes, and you know, people who get kidnapped, then they become victims of serial deleters. You know, people who get hit by trucks and then they're paralyzed for the rest of their lives. People who end up getting electrocuted. Their pets turn on them and start mauling them to death, such as pit bulls and dogs, their homes get raided by ICE police officers and all, they become targeted by the government, they don't seem to understand that that was judgment that came down upon them based upon what they've said or based on the works that they've done while they were on the earth. Because see, there's things in life worse than death, you see. So every word that a person speak, know that according to Isaiah 55 verse 11, the Lord's word never comes back void. Okay. No, so shall my Isaiah 55 verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall prosper in the thing whereto I've sent it, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I please. So, all you guys, you come in with these breakdowns, you're coming with these wayward doctrines. Know that you're going to be judged for that, man. There's a judgment tied to misleading the Lord's sheep, scattering the Lord's flock, and not doing what the Lord said to do. So while you guys are taking these things lightly, know that there's a judgment tied to your actions. Okay? So Matthew 12 verse 36, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. And it's scary because a lot of you guys are teaching out of the book of the Holy Scriptures. You think you're doing the right thing, but you're not. Okay, you're not doing the right thing. Okay, and you have a lot of followers that are blind, that are following you, and they're going to be judged too, man. But who's going to receive the greater damnation? Let's go to the book of Luke, the 12th chapter. Okay, the book of Luke, chapter 12. And let's scroll all the way down in the 40s. Okay. Who then is that faithful? Luke 12 verse 42. Who then is that faithful and wise steward whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Shall find so doing what? The work of the Lord, the correct way, not deceitfully, not misleadingly, the correct way, coming with the 100% correct message of the Holy Scriptures. Okay? The Lord said, blessed is that servant. Okay? Okay? Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he have. But if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and that's what a lot of you guys did. Okay, a lot of you guys who received this doctrine, this teaching, you received this truth at one point. And the Lord blessed you with the knowledge and understanding of this word, okay? Basically, you were supposed to take this talent that the Lord gave you, and you were supposed to bring in more talents. You're supposed to bring in more fruit. You're supposed to bear more fruit. But instead of bearing more fruit, you took the Lord's talent and you hid it in the napkin. Okay? And we all know what the Lord said to that wicked servant who did that thing. Okay. So then it says, but if that Lord say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the man, servants, and maidens. Okay. And to eat and to drink and to be drunken. Now, when it says to eat and to drink and to be drunken, to eat and to drink means to learn of different doctrines, to learn of different breakdowns outside of what you have learned. Because as it is written, continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of. Okay, but a lot of you guys, you learned this doctrine. You learned from the apostles of Great Millstone, from elders and other diligent brothers. But then, you know, you was offended in something that you learned in the doctrine, and you went to go bend and twist the scriptures to fit your narrative, so your doctrine could appear a less offensive to your congregation. And basically, you became drunken. Okay, you started learning from a little bit of IUIC. You started learning from a little bit of other Israelite groups, and you became drunken. You know, you started saying in your mind, Yahushua ain't coming back, man. I'm about to, you know, break this down according to my narrative, right? The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. So a lot of you guys out there that's not, you're not breaking down the Holy Scriptures correctly. Yahushua have appointed you your portion with the unbelievers. So you're basically on the other side. You're not of the Lord's sheep. You have been appointed with the unbelievers. And that servant which knew his Lord's will, this is that same servant that ate and that drunk of these other breakdowns and doctrines, and began to run with it and be drunken, right? Okay, that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. So you're the one that's going to receive the greater damnation, because you knew better, other than the ones who seeking the truth that didn't know any better. You know, you misled them, and you clouded their judgment. So you're going to be beaten with many stripes. It's the other way around, I think. Okay, but Luke 12 verse 48, but he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to him whom men have committed, much of him they will ask the more. Okay, so all you guys that knew better and didn't do it, the Lord is going to get you. With that, I'm going to say shalom. So on to the next one.